Ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-main event of the evening. This international bout between Venezuela and Mexico is set for 10 rounds of boxing for WBA NABA Super Bantamweight Championship. Damas y caballeros, este es su combate coestelar de esta noche. Combate de corte internacional entre Venezuela y México por el campeonato norteamericano de la AMB de los pesos Super Gallo. Your three judges scoring this bout in ringside. Sus tres jueces, Arturo Ramírez, Abelardo Palafox y José Luis Mejía. And your referee in charge of the action, el tercero en la superficie, Guillermo Miranda. Introducing to you first the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears purple and silver. He officially weighs in at 121.6 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul con pantaloncillo color morado con plata, con un peso de 121.6 libras. In 23 professional bouts, 19 victories against 4 losses, and 14 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 19 victorias, 4 derrotas y 14 de esas victorias por la vía del cloroformo. Representando Ciudad Bolívar, Venezuela. Introducing the challenger, con ustedes el retador, Edixon, el Cabezón Perez. And his opponent across the ring in the red corner. He wears blue trunks. He officially weighs in at 121.2 pounds. Y su rival en esquina roja con pantaloncillo color azul, con un peso oficial de 121.2 libras. In 18 professional bouts, he stands 16 victories, 2 defeats, and 9 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. En 18 combates profesionales, 16 victorias, 2 derrotas y 9 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the WBA NLBA Super Bantamweight Champion. Damas y caballeros, el campeón defensor de Norteamérica de la AMB de los pesos Super Gallo, Puritito Chicale, Leonardo León Baez. And here is with the following instructions, dando las indicaciones finales, su referee Guillermo Miranda. 10 rounds, 10 asaltos.
Pelea limpia, mucho cuidado con los golpes abajo y los golpes en la cabeza. ¿Estamos de acuerdo? Hay que hacer una pelea limpia. Vámonos.
Well, it's very clear who the hometown favorite is. Leonardo Baez from right here in Mexicali, taking on from Venezuela, Edixon Perez. 10 rounds scheduled here in our co-main event.
Folks.
All right, as we get started here, kind of take us through what each fighter has to do to win tonight.
Well, this is actually a unique matchup where you have Baez, who is the bigger fighter as far as he has the advantages of the height, the reach, and he's also coming from a big win. So he's gonna come in and put pressure and try to walk Perez down. Perez is normally the boxer you would see in this case. Even though he's the smaller fighter, you would think smaller fighters would have to get inside of those bigger fighters, but he's more of a boxer. He's more of a boxer, but as of right now, he's staying in there, and I don't think he should be going toe-to-toe with Baez. Baez is going to be doing this all night. I think he has to be smart. Yeah, he has to. There's going to be certain moments where he's going to have to stay in there and exchange with him, but overall, I think he should be on the move and try to outbox Baez.
I think that's great analysis because here in the first minute, Baez's punches are very strong, very wicked.
Yeah, and Perez is fighting. He's fighting Baez's fight right now. This is what Baez wants, and he's just gonna stay in there. He's focusing on the body, and he's gonna try to break Perez down.
This is our co-main event of the evening. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Facebook Watch. Luis Feliciano doing a great job. His first time in the analyst chair, taking a little break from fighting in the ring, but a very short break. He'll be right back in there. Oh! Oh, wow! Perez just knocked Baez down out of nowhere. What a shock!
Baez is hurt.
And now Perez's corner, they are telling him, go
Perez
get
has to
him.
go with it. Yep, he has to go for it.
Go get Baez.
He has to go for it.
And now just swinging wildly is Perez. What a shock, a first-round knockdown for Perez on Baez.
I think Perez has made a little bit of a mistake of kind of letting off and not pressing on the gas pedal right here. He has Baez here. Baez is still hurt, and there's still time, but now Perez is kind of backing off. And
that was his moment.
Yeah, that was his moment.
That was
and now
his
it
time.
seems like Baez is starting to recover a little bit. Now he just landed a big left hook.
Well, I tell you what, Perez moving nicely, throwing big-time shots. And Baez, the overwhelming favorite in this one, has already been knocked down inside 20 seconds. Boy, what an exciting first round here in our co-main event. Oh, good first round. How shocked were you that Baez went down?
Pretty shocked. Pretty shocked. I didn't expect that. As I was mentioning, that Perez should be more on the on the outside, but he obviously he hit him with a big right hand, and he it's going to be interesting to see how Baez reacts now for the for the remainder of the fight. Whether he becomes a little bit more hesitant, whether he's backing off, or he's just going to keep going how he was in before the knockdown.
Let's see that knockdown in the first round.
Baez landed good shots. That
Well, I think it shocked Baez, to be honest. That was
hook
right on
hand.
the chin.
Yep, right on the money.
Right on the chin.
And Baez actually landed a very good combination before he got dropped.
So maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for Baez. We'll see. We were talking about how great he was coming off that big win over Melion, and then all of a sudden, boom, down to the first round. So that is the boxing game. Here we go, round two. Baez in the blue trunks and Perez in the purple. I am such a fan of these style of fighters. Oh, big
Good.
left hand by Baez. That one really knocked Perez back.
But Perez is staying in there.
Staying right in there.
He's staying in there.
Body shots, following up with head shots. You almost feel like Baez is baiting him a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Almost playing a little bit of possum.
No, definitely. And but that's what Baez wants this. At the end of the day, I know he
Oh!
got dropped. This is what he wants because he's able to he has that leverage and he's able to land those big shots like he just did right there.
Boy, big time body shot from Baez to Perez. It now seems like Baez is completely recovered from that first round knockout, or knockdown rather. Good left hands. Still to come tonight, our main event, Jojo Diaz, Jesus Cuarto. You want to stick around for that? They will be hard-pressed to follow this, however. The first 3 minutes were amazing. See, this fight has now started to settle in.
Yeah,
to
both
a nice
fighters.
pace.
Yeah, both fighters now are kind of like a little bit more relaxed. Tensions were pretty high.
Woo! I'll say. All right, approaching 30 seconds to go here in the second round.
And that's exactly what Baez has to do. He has to use his reach. That jab's going to be key, especially if Perez decides to stay in there with him. You know, he's going to have to use that jab.
Oh, good little stiff right hand there from Perez. Good final 10 seconds for both men as a much slower paced second round. Who did you give that in favor of?
That was a much better round for Baez. He started landing some good shots, started using his distance, and it's going to be interesting to see how this fight plays out.
Still to come later this year, October 19th, November 23rd, December 14th, all Facebook fight nights right here in Mexico. So we're going to have a couple of questions later in the show, at least one, on where you want these Mexico fights to be. I vote for Cabo. I don't know about you.
That'd be great.
I'll go Cancun.
Hey, either of those places.
You're good with that?
I'll be happy to do my second gig down there for sure.
I know somebody. I'll put in a word for you. All right, which city in Mexico should we go to next? Cabo, Mexico City, or Cancun? Which one would you choose?
Give me Cancun.
It's a great line. Give me Cancun.
Give me Cancun. I've never been, but I've heard good things.
Bro, I'll go with you.
Sounds
on
good.
that one. All right, round number 3 of a scheduled 10. Perez, big straight right hand to start this third round. Baez knocked down in the first round if you're just joining us. The heavy favorite.
Good left hook. Baez starting to land some big shots.
What can an early round knockdown do for Baez in a fight like this?
It could wake him up. You know, maybe he was, not to say that he was underestimating or thought he was going to be a breeze, but now he knows he's in a real fight. You know, Perez is here to win. He's here to pull the upset in front of his hometown. So it's definitely, it'll definitely wake him up.
And now Perez starting to land some good shots as Baez a good retort. Perez lands again. It really feels like Baez is playing possum. He's inviting, a big right hand by Perez.
Yeah, Perez is not backing down.
I don't know if this is the right game plan if you're Baez.
Yeah, I didn't even expect this from Perez. I thought Perez was gonna, I've seen him previously, his previous fights, and he's more of a mover. He uses the ring, and I thought Baez, obviously known as a pressure fighter, he was gonna bring it, but Perez is right there with him.
Well,
He's
clearly he saw
down.
something, right? He
Yeah.
saw something in his preparation that says, I can get to Baez this way.
And maybe that actually, led to the first round knockdown. Maybe Baez didn't expect Perez to stay in there with him and go toe to toe, and maybe that's what led to the knockdown.
Inside 45 seconds of the third round. Baez, Perez, our co-main event. Oh,
Good
big
job.
left hand by Baez.
Good
Just
defense
a
right
wild right by Perez.
Now it seems like Baez is the one boxing.
It really does. Good, fun third round there by both men.
Baez showed some good skills that round. It was still closer than the second round, but I still have to go with Baez that round.
I think Baez did a really good job of changing the pace, changing how he threw different shots. Still to come tonight in our main event, Jojo Diaz, 29-1, taking on Jesus Cuadro. Now, when you're in a place like this, because I'm having a hard time talking. It's so dry. It's so hot. When you're a fighter and you have to fight in these kind of conditions, how hard is it?
It's even worse. I mean, you're dealing with the heat, the dryness, and and you have to obviously worry about somebody trying to take your head off. I mean, it's very difficult, but these are things that you have to fight. You fight through, and Baez is fighting in his hometown. This is a big moment for him and his career, and you can't even think about that. Can't even think about it.
This is clearly why fighters come to a city early to acclimate themselves with whatever the weather is, because as you can tell from my voice, this is no joke. It is so dry in here, it is hard to even talk. Baez, Perez, 4th round. Mexicali, Baja California, just south of the border here in Mexico. Auditorio del Estado.
Nice to see Baez use his jab right here, especially in these moments where he's inside. Strong jab and set up that left hook. Nice uppercut.
Oh, great combination by Baez. And Perez just comes right back, though.
Baez is also showing some good defense. Slipping some very nice shots.
I've been really impressed with how well he moves and how he's been able to avoid taking the big shot that Baez is trying to land.
And we can say that he's fully recovered, right, from that first round knockdown.
No doubt. I think everybody in here was shocked to see Baez go down in the first round based off his track record. And again, Perez, to your point, Luis, is doing a great job, of just ducking out of the way, avoiding the shots.
It's interesting because I didn't expect this. I thought that Baez was going to be the one, constant pressure on Perez, and it's actually the other way around. Baez is showing really good boxing skills. You can see he feels comfortable. He's dropping his hands down. He's feeling a little comfortable. He's using some feints, and he's slipping some good shots. He's the one boxing, and Perez is the one kind of trying to bring the fight to him.
Inside a minute, good left hand there from Baez. Both men just standing in the middle of the ring and trading. And
good uppercut by Perez.
Feigning, good left hand to the body, another with a left hook.
Yeah, they're going toe-to-toe now. Baez is shaking his head like, yes, let's go.
Oh, great combo. Perez right back. What a great back and forth fight this has turned out to be. They both have attempted to land big-time haymakers. If one does land, this one could be over. But right now, both guys are doing a great job of avoiding taking the big shots in these rounds. For Baez, we see him there in the corner through these first 4 rounds. What do you make of his performance?
I think after that first round knockdown, I think he's fighting very well. He's starting to box. He's landing some very big shots, some great left hooks to the body and some uppercuts as well, like you just saw right here. And he just has to keep the momentum. I feel like he has a rhythm now, and you can see him. He's very, very comfortable in there. While Perez he's the one that has to bring the fight to Baez.
It seems like Baez right now, every time he gets hit, he's almost enjoying it. It's almost like you're coming into my waters. You're coming into my ocean.
He's saying you're fighting my fight.
There you go. Total punches through 4 rounds. Thrown Perez more, but Baez has landed far more punches than Perez has. All right, round number 5.
See Baez starting to utilize his jab. Good left hook. See Baez touching now. He's starting to touch because he wants to set up those big shots. So he's touching, and then boom, he wants to set up a big shot.
Explain to fans at home, what do you mean by touching?
By touching, it doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, he's throwing it with, it has that same intensity of just a normal punch, but, you know, it's not hard. It's touching. Basically, you want to set up your shot. It's a way to set up your shot. So you touch upstairs, then boom, you work them downstairs. So it's just kind of you're kind of changing your tempo in a sense with your punches.
Minute gone here in this 5th round. Scheduled for 10. Baez knocked down in round number 1, and he has fully recovered to start to take control of this fight.
Perez has slowed down a bit in this round. Baez is in control right now.
You know, we have seen in several other fights here tonight, and maybe it's the heat, maybe it's whatever it is, but every fight, when we get to about round 4, round 5, they've really started to slow down. Inside a minute. You can see Baez continues to try to connect with that uppercut. You got to give Perez a lot of credit. He's continued through 5 rounds to stand there and trade and box.
Yeah, he's taking some big shots. Baez should start focusing on that body, because you can tell that Perez is starting to wear down a bit.
It's all about adapting, changing, evolving within the 10 rounds. Baez really starting to move pretty well, using that footwork.
That means he's comfortable. He's in a rhythm and he's comfortable.
All right, a very quick 5th round in the books, so we are halfway home. So what do you make of what we've seen through 5 rounds thus far?
Well, aside from that first round, it's pretty much been all Baez. It's been a good fight, a very competitive fight, but Baez is winning these rounds, and he's winning them, throwing big shots. He's boxing beautifully, showing good defensive skills as well, and you can just tell he's comfortable, he's in a rhythm, and Perez is pretty much, he's just been doing the same thing, which is just, he just wants to stay in there, kind of bring the fight, stay in there with him. Baez is kind of showing a little bit of everything. He's being very just unique in a sense that he's switching it up. You'll see him land there, stay in there, land big shots, and all of a sudden you see him boxing and moving and feel comfortable. He's showing he's showing all around a very good performance.
All right, here we go. Round number 6, Baez, Perez. And again, wasting no time getting right into the action of this round. Big left hands to the body.
You see Baez now starting to focus on the body a lot. His corner probably told him, you know, Perez is trying to slow, so he's starting to slow down. Keep focusing on that body.
I think it's also giving a lot of respect to Perez and his chin.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know if you're going to knock him out the way that he is fighting right now by hitting him in the chin or hitting him in the face.
He might have to go to the body. Yep.
That's right.
Definitely.
Minute gone here in this 6th round.
You just saw Perez drop the mouthpiece. That says it right there that, hey, this is, he's starting to wear out a little bit. And
well, you can see him breathing heavy.
Yeah, and his corner's telling him, hey, keep digging to the body. There it is. Keep digging to the body. That's a great shot right there.
Well, that was a great shot. And we saw it in our last fight, and we're starting to see it now, that the body shots are starting to take their toll. As Perez is just blocking those ribs and now allowing Baez to take advantage up top. One minute to go here in this sixth round. You're right. Perez is not changing anything that he's done for the last 5 rounds.
And we look back to the first round where he had the opportunity to put Baez away, and I think it was a big mistake, and he missed that opportunity. And who knows? It could have been a first-round knockout, and now he looks like he's on the tail end of this fight, and he's worn out. He's worn out. Baez just has to keep digging to the body and keep landing big shots, and this fight could be over soon.
Sometimes you have to take advantage of those situations when they come. And now another big body shot by Baez. But Perez comes back with an uppercut of his own. Oh, that one by Baez. Can he follow it up? There's these horns in here that are blowing, and the fighters stopped like 2 seconds early there.
It's easy to get confused. Even though us as fighters, we're used to, we're not paying attention to that bell, but you hear something, you automatically just stop.
Yeah.
And who knows? In some instances, a fighter can take advantage of that, and we can see something dramatic.
Crazy things happen over the years where fighters have gotten knocked out because they stopped too early. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight here on Facebook Watch in a very hot, dry Mexicali, Baja, California. This is our co-main event here on Facebook Watch. Baez and Perez. Baez, the overwhelming favorite. He was knocked down in the first round. Unexpectedly, for sure, by Perez, but he was unable to follow that up. And so here we are with Baez now in complete control.
You see Perez coming out with a little bit more energy this round, throwing some shots.
We're starting to see Leonardo get out of the way because he's starting to see the punches coming from Perez.
Also see some blood too now.
Yeah.
I think Perez caught Baez with a good uppercut, and it looks like may have possibly broken a nose. He's bleeding. He's bleeding a lot from his nose right now.
When Perez wakes up tomorrow morning, his ribs and his abs are going to be so sore because Baez just continues to unload on those spots on Perez. And now Baez catching Perez.
This got bloody real quick. They're going to check out Baez right now.
All right, so Perez will go to one corner, and Baez will get worked on in the other.
See Perez's corner telling him, work with the body on Baez.
Okay, here we go. Under 90 seconds to go here in this 7th round. Boy, and that blood's really starting to come down the face of Baez from his nose.
Now you see Baez starting to box. Use the ring now, use his reach.
A good left hand by Baez. Boy, and you can see the blood on the bodies of both men coming from the nose of Baez. Inside 45 seconds.
And this could be a second opportunity for Perez, as far as he knows that now Baez is, they just checked him out for his nose. It seems like he's having a hard time breathing. And it's the second time with the mouthpiece for Perez.
I don't even know if Perez knew it was out. All right, clock restarts.
And I think that just helps Baez because now, he has some time to recover. I mean, I think Perez, this is a moment for him. Oh, big right hand.
Big right hand by Baez. Just stopped Perez in his tracks. This has turned into an absolute battle. And just to be honest with you, I think many of us thought this would be a completely one-sided fight.
And it's hard to tell, but I think Perez is also cut from his eye.
So both corners have significant work to do.
They're dealing with some adversity.
That's
and
exactly
we've been
right.
seeing this all night.
That's exactly right. So we head into round number 8, and they will try to get the blood stopped coming out of the nose of Baez. He's having no part of it. It's almost like he's annoyed that they're trying to fix it. Some highlights from that last round.
Yeah, Perez was landing some really good, nice short uppercuts in the inside, and I think that's what caused the damage to the nose. But overall, I mean, it was a better round for Perez. I still edged it out to Baez because I feel that he did a better job of boxing and using his skills. But it was a better round for Perez. I think that Perez has to, he has to know that now Baez is going to be on the move and he has to put pressure. Now he has to put pressure.
Luis Feliciano and the coach here at ringside. Facebook Watch. Fight Night, Golden Boy. Baez, Perez, co-main event. And we are dealing with cuts. We are dealing with bloody noses with less than 3 rounds to go. Perez almost reminds me of like a bulldog type fighter.
Yeah, and I was very surprised that he was going to fight this way with Baez, but he's maintained it since round 1.
He has.
And now, ironically speaking, that now he has to continue to be that bulldog and continue to press the action because now Baez is, he's dealing with some adversity as far as with his nose, and he has to put the pressure. Now he has to try to bring the fight to Baez.
Oh, good straight right hand from Baez. You can really start to feel the energy and the anxiety get ramped up here in this arena as this fight gets to the later rounds.
I'd like to see Baez maybe get some feints in there, try to have Perez commit and maybe counter him with some big shots.
Coming up next, our main event. You don't want to miss that. Jojo Diaz, Jesus Cuadro. Can Jojo get the job done and move on to a potential future showdown with Tevin Farmer, Ronte Davis? You've been voting all night on Facebook. We'll have those results coming up for you momentarily. And now the nose has opened up again for Baez as that blood just streaming down his face as we approach the end of this 8th round.
And we also have Perez dealing with a cut.
All right, so the 8th round in the books. Here are the results from our poll question on Facebook. Who do you want to see JoJo fight after tonight? And 42% of you say yes, Tevin Farmer. We would all love to see that fight. I would love to see it by the end of the year.
Absolutely. I hope that it gets made by the end of the year. That's, of course, if JoJo pulls off the win tonight. And, you know, and they've been going back and forth. I mean, JoJo has been very vocal on social media, on Twitter, you know, calling out Tevin Farmer. I mean, they've gone, you know, they have a little history where they had a little face down in at the Jacobs
in Las Vegas.
Yeah, in Las Vegas, the Jacobs Canelo card. So, you know, I think that's a fight that everybody wants to see. He's been very vocal about it, and I think it'll be a very good fight.
I think that's the one thing that I have the most problems with being in the world of boxing now is Oscar De La Hoya will make fights happen. Some promoters won't make fights happen. That's a fight that I think the two promoters that have those two guys, we can make that fight happen.
And I think both fighters sincerely want to fight each other. They want to fight each other, and I think it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, and you know, hopefully, you know, if JoJo does his thing tonight and makes a statement like he says he will do, I think that's a fight that should be made next.
I agree with you 100%. We just saw a big shot by Baez, but Perez was able to respond. And they continue to stand smack dab in the middle of the ring and trade shots. And again, they take Perez over to the corner. And now I believe they are working on the cut above the right eye of Perez. And now that blood is really starting to come down his face.
Yeah, this is a war.
Minute gone here in this 9th round.
Big left hook by Baez.
Amazing toughness from both men here through 9 rounds. And they are both still hoping that at some point one of the big haymakers is going to knock the other one out, because I think they're getting tired. And they have both earned the respect of the other man, no doubt.
And you still see moments of it going back to how it was in the beginning of the fight, where these guys are just standing toe-to-toe and they're landing some big shots.
Inside a minute now, here in this 9th round.
Good right hand.
Oh, the big left hand by Baez. 45 seconds here in this 9th round. Boy, Perez just keeps on coming despite any shots he takes from Baez, despite any blood that's coming down his face, continues to come forward. All right, so the 9th round in the books. We've got 1 round left And if you're Edixon Perez, you've got to believe that his corner believes and knows that he needs a knockout to win.
Yeah, he needs a knockout. This fight has been very competitive. I mean, I have Baez winning very wide. I only gave Perez the first round. I think Baez has been cruising by after that first round. But Perez needs a knockout. It's been a competitive fight. It's been a war. But I think that Baez has been doing a little bit more in every round after the first round, of course. And you know, it's a little wide on my score, but he definitely needs a knockout.
Well, there you see the face of Edixon Perez. There is Baez, as the cornermen have been very, very busy in this fight here tonight with cuts and bloody noses and all kinds of fun things. But now both fighters come to the middle. Respect and let's fight.
Aiken says Perez is just going for it right now. He's gonna be digging. Baez has to just stay smart. He knows Perez is gonna come. He's been doing a great job of boxing the entire fight, and he just has to keep on doing that, fighting his fight.
Boy, Perez coming out very, very active here in this first 30 seconds of this 10th round. Oh, wow. What a left hand by Baez.
And Perez answers right back.
I mean, it is no joke. These two just standing in the pocket, trading. They will both know tomorrow morning that they were in a fight tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be sore.
Whoa.
These are kind of fights where he's almost dropped his mouthpiece again, and he did. It's the third time.
Well, yeah, that's the third time that Perez has dropped his mouthpiece, and the crowd, well, they're booing because.
And they're going to deduct the point now. They just deducted a point.
Do you think that's the right thing to do?
It is the third time. I'm pretty sure the referee warned them. I know it's the last round, but it is the third time that's happened. And, you know, especially if he warned them after the second time that if you do it again, I'm going to deduct the point. He has to stay true to his call.
Well, playing devil's advocate, dropping your mouthpiece if you're winded is a way to buy yourself a little bit of time if you chose to do that.
Correct. But, you know, in this instance, you see Perez, I don't think that he wanted. At this point, he doesn't want to take a break. I mean, he knows that he has to get a knockout here because if he getting a break, that means Baez is also getting a break. So he has to go for a knockout here, and he has to put pressure. He has to get everything he has.
All right, inside of a minute in this final 10th round. What a battle between Leonardo Baez and Edixon Perez. Both men have showed up, both men have showed out. But after the first round knockdown of Baez, he has been the class of this fight.
Yeah, overall, that was it's been a very, very good performance for Baez. Showed a little bit of everything. He stayed in the inside. He was, you know, trading with Perez and landing and throwing some bombs. And he's also displayed some good boxing skills where he's using the ring. He's been slipping slipping shots, showing very good defense. It's a pretty good performance.
All right, now Baez just trying to dance his way to the end of this 10th round without taking any more punishment. And that'll do it. That'll do it. This one goes the distance. Perez believing that he did enough. But I think we all believe here at ringside it'll be Baez that will get the decision. But crazier things have happened in the world of boxing. But nevertheless, in a very hot, humid, dry arena, these two guys absolutely left everything out there. What surprised you the most about this fight as we see some of the final highlights from the end of that match?
I think Perez's style, just his game plan, that's what surprised me the most. I thought he was going to come out. I mean, I've seen some previous fights of his, and I thought that he was going to come out, try to be the more of the boxer in this fight, where we saw Baez kind of be the more of the boxer in this fight. Baez, overall, he showed a very good display of his skills, a little bit of everything. He stayed in there, he exchanged with them. He also showed good boxing skills, good defense. Yeah, aside from that knockout, or from that knockdown, it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, there you see the final punch stats, and very much one-sided on the side of Leonardo Baez. Almost 600 punches thrown, landed over 200, as opposed to 136 and 698 from Edixon Perez. Power punches, again, Leonardo way more accurate than Perez. But give both guys a lot of credit. They weren't scared to throw, and they weren't scared to take.
Yeah, if you see the probably what's gonna be the scores that the judges hand out, and you see both fighters, you're gonna be like, man, these guys, it was a war. And credit to Perez, he stood in there, he made it a very competitive fight. He didn't back down, and he kept going forward. And again, I look back to that first round where he had that opportunity. He could have, sealed this fight, and I think he really missed out an opportunity there to pull a major upset. But again, you learn through that.
Do you think sometimes that fighters, whether it's boxing, MMA, whatever it is, that they're taught so much, don't box yourself out early on, that sometimes in a situation like that, when you're a big-time underdog and you need to go for everything, you don't, because that's what you're taught in training?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to punch yourself out. It's a first round. You're thinking, oh, okay, hey, if I did this in the first round, I'm pretty sure, throughout the fight, I'll be able to land another big shot. But, Baez adjusted very well. He adjusted very well, and he used his skills. He used his skills, and he started boxing. He started figuring out his distance, and Perez made it a competitive fight, but overall, Baez, it should be a pretty clear one-sided victory for Baez.
He is definitely a fighter that Golden Boy has their eyes on, that they
Y no
believe
se los
he
vayan
can
aquí,
be
damas y caballeros.
a
Después de
major
la pelea
star
estelar, vamos a tener un
in the
combate
next
más
3 to 5 years.
con la aparición de Alberto el Venado López después del combate estelar.
All right, we'll get the official announcement in a second, and then we will have a post-round interview from Josie Ochoa. A nice addition to our Facebook Watch coverage here tonight. And the judges, well, they've taken their own sweet time tonight, Luis, in getting their numbers up to the ring. We've had two fights that were pretty much dominated by the two different fighters, and they've still taken a long time to get the scorecards up there.
Sometimes you just have to double check the math, right?
I guess so. I guess so. Don't forget, while we have a second, to remind you that coming up November 2nd, it's a night you want to mark on your calendar. DAZN, Canelo, King Rai on the co-main event against Duno. That's a night I want to be in Vegas. That's a night I want to be in Vegas.
It's going to be a great night of fighting.
Can you imagine going up 1, 2, 3 weight classes like Canelo continues to do?
It's amazing. It's
test
amazing.
himself?
I mean, you don't see fighters doing that nowadays, but Canelo, he likes to challenge himself, He's one of the best fighters in the world. If not, it's debatable whether he's the best fighter pound for pound in the world. He continues to challenge himself. So much respect to him as a fighter.
We talked this whole fight about the body shots. And I believe on November 2nd, if Canelo is going to be successful it's going to be body shots.
I agree.
They get it done, right?
I agree as well.
All right, we are continuing to wait for the official announcement, and we're being told it's just about set to go. There you can see the highlights of still to come. Our main event, Jojo Diaz taking on Jesus Quadro. Jojo 29-1. You know a co-main event is good when we have blood on our notes here at ringside.
That's right. I'm just checking,
Making sure you're
checking if I got some
your
blood
brand
on me.
new
Yeah.
suit, baby. You're clean tonight. You're clean
Yeah,
tonight.
We got a lot of blood out here.
Oh, that's going straight to the dry cleaners. All right, we are all set. Let's go to the ring.
Okay, yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we now go to the judges' scorecards. Después de 10 rounds de combate, tenemos la decisión de los jueces. Fuerte aplauso para ambos gladiadores. Para Cabezón Pérez y León Baez. Judge, el juez, Arturo Ramírez, he scored the bout 97-93, 97-93. And both judges, José Luis Mejía and Abelardo Palafox, they both have it 96-92, 96-92. Estos dos últimos jueces coinciden en números. For your winner by the way of unanimous decision, su ganador por la vía de la decisión unánime. Y a un campeón de Norteamérica de la AMB, he's still NABA, WBA Super Bantamweight Champion, Mexicali presente, Leonardo León Baez.
So a unanimous decision for Leonardo